All right, guys, we got one more of these type, the subtraction that we're going to go over, and then I'm going to flip it over and we're going to do some factoring, stuff we did on Tuesday. So here with subtraction, it works really similar to what we just did with addition, but what we need to do is we need to make sure we apply this negative sign to all of these terms here. So the first thing I like to do when I subtract is I just write out the terms again. But wherever there's a negative sign, I make sure I apply it to everything. So here I've got minus a negative 7x to the third. So minus a negative, that'll give us a positive. Again, minus a negative, it's going to give us a positive. Here we've got minus a positive, so that's a negative. And then again, minus positive 8, so minus 8. So we've got all that, and now we're ready to combine things together. So again, I like to kind of mark them off as I go. 5x to the third and 7x to the third, that's 12x to the third. Those combine to give us what? Think about it. It's 9x squared. Here we got positive 7x, negative 9x. That's minus 2, because 7 minus 9 is negative 2x, and negative 6 and negative 8 is negative 14. So there's our answer. All right, so those are our polynomial operations, multiplication, addition, and we just did subtraction in this video. And now we're going to do some factoring of polynomials. All right, so up here, we look at it and we try to figure out what ways could we factor this. We learned three. We had quadratic form, we had finding a common factor, and we had our special patterns, the ones with the cubes. So we look at this and we say, hey, that kind of looks like a quadratic, right? If like that was an x squared and that was an x, that would be a quadratic equation. And both of these are double the power that they should be. So this tells us we can use quadratic form. And what we think about is we think about it the same way we would think about a quadratic one. We think, what are two numbers that add up to negative 18, multiply to negative 18, and add up to 17. And so we think about that and we realize, okay, I know exactly what that would be. That would be a positive 18 and a negative 1. You can see how if we multiply those, we get this. If we add them, we get that. But instead of having x's here, since these powers are double what they should be, so are these. We go x squared. Now we might be done here, but we got to take a look. Can we factor either of these more? That one we can't. X squared plus a number can never get factored. But this here we can. This is going back to what we did first semester. That's going to be x plus 1 and x minus 1. Okay, so that would be our final answer. We can't factor anything anymore. Okay, this next one, we've got 6x to the third plus 6x squared minus 36x. So here, we already did a quadratic one. It could be another quadratic, but here this one isn't. This one, we're going to find a common factor. This is a good place to start because we can always just check and see, hey, can we divide all of these things by the same number or term? So here we look and we say, okay, we can definitely divide each of these by 6. That's divisible by 6, that's divisible by 6, that's divisible by 6. And we've also got x in all of them. So we can divide all these by 6x. So that's going to be our first step. We've got 6x, and then inside the parentheses, we're going to write this out with every term divided by 6x. So 6x to the third divided by 6x is going to be x squared. You can always check your work by remultiplying it out. 6x times x squared gives us that. So we know we're on the right track. If we divide 6x squared by 6x, we get x. And then this last one, negative 36x over 6x would be minus 6. So once again, we ask ourselves, is there anything else we can do? Well, this 6x is definitely done, but this in here can get factored more because there are two numbers that multiply to give us negative 6 and add to give us a 1. Remember, this would be a 1 in front of x here. And I ask myself again, what would those numbers be? And it would be a positive 3 and a negative 2. So we got x plus 3 and x minus 2. Because 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. There's our answer. Okay, last one. And if you're thinking this is a special pattern, then you are correct. That's the only one we haven't done yet. And what we're going to be using here is the pattern of the difference of cubes, which we've got right here, the lower one right here. So I'm going to put this in a place where you guys can see it. This is what we went over in class on Tuesday. So we're going to be using this right here. Because here, this 125, that's the same thing as 5 cubed. 125 is 5 cubed. And then we got to ask ourselves, 8y cubed, is that anything cubed? And yeah, it is. We've actually seen this one before already. That's 2y to the third. So that means we've got a is 5, and b here is 2y. Since we got a minus sign between them, we got to make sure we use the one with a minus sign between them. And we're going to write this out, what they give us, with our a and b. So we got a minus b. Seems like I need to hurry up here. And then we've got a squared, so that's 25, because 5 squared is 25, plus a times b, 5 times 2y, that's 10y, plus b squared, that's 2 squared, y squared, so that's 4y squared. And that is it. That is our final answer. And we are done. I will see you guys next week.